Miami fans, I got one question for you. Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football? I had to run these numbers 4-5 times these Dolphins numbers because I wanted to make sure it was beyond right when I give you this bit of information. So we're going to talk about the Harvard study and whether or not the Miami Dolphins are set for glory in the AFC East. Let me start off by saying I'm old. I'm not a young person. You know, I'm not 12. I'm not even 18. I'm not 21, unfortunately. But in my lifetime, the Dolphins have gone to the playoffs maybe two times, maybe 2-3 times. It's been 43 years since they went to the Super Bowl. I'm not 43, no matter what anybody says. We haven't gone far as long as I've been alive. I think it was 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. I can't remember. Maybe 9 years ago or so, we went to the first round of the playoffs. That's the most recent glory road we've had. So when the Harvard study came out saying the Miami Dolphins were set to win the AFC East, I was skeptical because I'm sorry, but I am pre-programmed to believe in the Dolphins and I am let down every single year. So yeah. And let me just preface this by saying last year I think we won 4 games in a row at the start of the season and I swore we were going to the Super Bowl. I was like, that's it. See you in the Super Bowl, Miami Dolphins. But that didn't happen. So I ran the numbers this year, and what the Harvard study did, I know a lot of you don't like math, so I'm not going to overly bore you with the numbers, but I am going to have a more detailed breakdown, maybe in a separate video, or maybe just on my blog. But the Harvard study, what they did was just basically say, they took numbers from the previous year, and they said, okay, well, this is how the Dolphins are good. They took pass completion numbers, they took stats, they took box stats, they took scores, and he ran it in like a statistical formulas just to say what teams would do well again this year, and that's how he came up with the Miami Dolphins being top. We have pretty much the same team, plus or minus a couple of pieces. If anything, the Dolphins have gotten better because we've added Suh and we've traded Wallace. We've gotten rid of the bad pieces. We've added to our defense. So our defense numbers actually stack up better than they did last year. The only thing I disagree with the Harvard study, and we'll get into my numbers and my formulas in a second, but he really, you can tell this Harvard student who ran the numbers, he really isn't into football or sports because his data is incomplete. He doesn't use data such as whether or not a team, like injury reports, you know, the statistics for what's the probability of your players getting hurt. He doesn't do that in his numbers. He just does like a last year's comparison and he builds upon those numbers saying, oh, well, the Miami Dolphins should be better again this year, which is fine. So I ran my own data and I took numbers. I needed numbers because I don't have the time to build a whole new algorithm, but I needed numbers that were already pre-written. So I went to the source, I went to Madden, and I pulled our individual player numbers for our key players, especially for our starting lineup. Remember, this isn't basketball, this is football. We have 60 players on the team. So I needed data that was already done. So I went to Madden and I took our overall rating of our players. And they have a really good algorithm over there. I trust them. I also trust the 2K algorithm. I like their graphics engine. I like what they do with their numbers. I stand by them. So I pulled their numbers, and Miami Dolphins fans, you'll be very happy to know that we still, with my injury comparisons, with my individual players percentage and their scores, we still dominate the East. So given Harvard study and given my own data, which added more data, it added more studies. With mine, I took from injury reports, I took from player statistics, player stats, and I took from the defense of the Patriots and the defense of the Bills because those two are going to be our biggest competition in the East, in the AFC. So given my numbers, The Miami Dolphins are still top in the AFC. The biggest thing we have to deal with is Rex Ryan and the Bills. And I know everyone's going to say, no, Sarah, you're wrong. You should be looking at the Patriots. But remember, the Patriots are already down 4 games with the with cheating Brady's suspension. So the Dolphins, if the Dolphins do not go to the playoffs this year with their numbers, this is the best chance they're going to have for a minute. So I really don't know what to tell you. Even with the injury probability, like that's the only thing that would trip us up. But we're pretty deep in our defense and in our offense. We have good core pieces and we have good backup. So there really is no reason for the Dolphins not to go to the playoffs. We've gotten so much stronger with so it's just, I mean, that deal was just nasty nice. So there really is no reason for the Dolphins to go to the playoffs. There's none. There is none in the numbers. There's no reason. And one of the biggest core components of my research was our quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. He's at 94% player rating. And on my numbers, he should be at 97%. ESPN, I know, what's his name? Skip Bayless doesn't like Tannehill. But when I was a little girl, ESPN didn't like another player that we drafted. They said that he was not serious, and they said that he wouldn't really amount to a franchise quarterback. That dude went on to be called Dan Marino, so I don't know that you want to stake your claim on anything ESPN has to say. So by my numbers, there's no reason. I know, I was so excited too. I was so excited when I saw this. There's no reason for the Dolphins not to go to the playoffs. There's no reason for them not to finish with, they have no reason to finish with anything less than 3 losses. 3 is the key number. If they finish with more than 3, somebody fucked up, because there's no reason for them to finish with equal to or less than 3 losses. That's what my numbers show. I can give you my breakdown on my blog. It gets a little boring talking about numbers. I don't want to do that to you. I know some of you don't like it, so. But that's what I got, and you have to understand, I went to MIT. My numbers be good. My numbers are good. So, yes. And I have a bet going with Florida Dog tonight. The Dolphins start their preseason. They're going to play the Bears. I don't know that it's fair, but I ran these numbers before the bet with Florida Dog, but I kept rerunning them. So when I was looking, and even this is on our backup team versus the Bears, there's no reason why we don't win tonight. There just is no reason why. So if I win tonight, we get, Florida Dog has to change his AVI. If I lose tonight, I have to actually make a video, like a video tribute to the Chicago Bears and to their quarterback. What's his face? His name's not worth remembering. Cutler. So I really don't want to do that, but I was running numbers before I made that bet, so there's no reason why we should lose tonight. So I'm very excited for the game. You know, preparation is everything. So we've got such good key components to win this season that I'm just. But it's not too soon to start a prayer circle for them. I don't mean you need to stop praying. We always need to pray for the Dolphins, but the numbers stack up really good. So that is my analysis. There's no reason why they shouldn't do well this season. I will do another video tomorrow, and we'll analyze. I want to analyze the box numbers when the numbers start coming in after this game. So, and I'll match it up against the numbers I had. So we'll do a weekly run by run of the numbers, and I'll check my numbers against their numbers, and we'll see how it stacks up, and you know, if I'm right or if I'm wrong. And at the end of the season, I'm going to check the numbers against the Harvard study. Oh, his numbers are good. They're just not as cohesive as they could be. He could have run other things. He could have used other algorithms in his formulas. So yeah, so that's it. But the saying is true. There's no reason why the Dolphins don't have a stellar year this year. They've got good pieces. They've got low injury statistics. This is our year, Jesus. This is our come to Jesus moment. So his numbers were pretty good. I added in my numbers. They said the same thing. We've got to go through Rex Ryan and the Bills. That's our biggest competition. All right, you guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about this season. Let me know how you think your team's going to fare, even if it's not the Dolphins. But go Dolphins! All right, you guys, that's it for me. To quote the greatest show on earth, live long and prosper. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Poke, poke. Oh, God. We better win. We better win or else I will cry.